Alright, welcome back to the Citystead, everyone! What a wonderful, wonderful day it is today. It's pretty decent outside. It's not too bad. I got some time on my hands here. Actually, this morning... Alright, let's talk about this morning. So this morning I came out here, and I was mind blown. I've been checking on the barrels. As you guys know, I did this thermal mass. I got all three of these barrels full of water sitting in here, trying to, keep the greenhouse at a decent temperature at night. We had overnight temperatures into the teens. It was really, really brutal, kind of cold. And I came out here this morning to check my temperatures to see what they were doing. Since I got the insulation all in, if you haven't seen the video where I finished the greenhouse insulation, I'll put it right there. But yeah, so the greenhouse now has insulation on both end walls. Still single layer plastic on the actual hoop house part of it. Next year's project will be to add a second layer of plastic, because I think that's going to be where we gain our biggest amount of help. Well, unless the solar heater actually proves to be very good with the thermal mass, and then maybe we'll just leave it. I don't know yet. It's still kind of up in the air. We got to do a little more experimenting. But anyways, I came out here to check these temperatures, and I was pleasantly surprised by something, and it kind of it shocked me a little bit because I did not expect it. So I had been looking at these barrels before. I'd been checking them. Really about 29 was the coldest I had ever seen them get. And that was when we were in the teens at night. It was getting pretty chilly. And they seemed to hold right around freezing. They would get a very thin layer of ice on top of them. But nothing all the way through, nothing deep down in there. And I didn't do anything. I didn't add salt and anything like that to try to help them not freeze. So it's just literally just water in here. But I noticed this morning the temperature inside the water barrel was actually 33 degrees, a bit above freezing. Now, not that, shocking, I guess, because that's about what the average temperature I have been seeing is, which kind of has got me thrown for a loop. So I originally had came up with the hypothesis that this just wasn't going to do anything. We're just too cold for too long at night. We only get about 10 hours of sun during the day, and we're starting to get toward the end of February. So it will be getting a little bit different, but for the most part, we get a very minimal amount of sun, and I was thinking these aren't really going to be here long enough in the sun to collect enough heat to not freeze and to hold some sort of heat to dissipate at night. We're not heating the greenhouse, right? We're just trying to control the temperature of the greenhouse and not let it get too cold at night. So I was definitely shocked a little bit seeing that, that maybe I didn't give it a fair enough chance before by not really thinking that it could do anything. I kind of was already downplaying it before I started it, but I see something here that is working somewhat. It's definitely a different, it's not like super warm and warming it up. Now somebody did bring to my attention that I maybe am not doing a fair experiment test, because the water in here wasn't necessarily warm when I put it in here. It was already cold outside, and it hadn't been collecting and storing energy from the entire summer. So I am going to rectify that the next video about this, depending on how long this one gets. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here in the morning, first thing in the morning before I go to work, and I'm going to check the temperatures and we're going to see what we're at. Barrel, air temperature of the greenhouse. Now that we have everything sealed up, we got a very good insulated layers. We know there's no air escaping through the ends of this greenhouse. I think we're at the point where we're holding a lot of this air in here. Currently sitting at 47 degrees on a nice sort of warm afternoon, sunny-ish afternoon. It's not super sunny, but it's sunny enough to know that it's daytime. And it's what, 30, I think it's like 34 outside, 32, something like that. So it's definitely holding a lot better with just a little bit of that sunshine. So I'm going to see what the temperatures are in the morning of what the air is. I'm trying to check it in the afternoon if I remember every day. And we're going to do that for a few different days, a few different nights. And then I ordered a little bucket heater. So I'm going to run an extension cord out here, and I'm going to heat these barrels up to really warm temperatures. I'm going to try to get them to 70, 80-ish degrees, and then I'm going to leave them like that, and we'll do some checking up on them and see how they work in that setting. So actually seeing them hold a little bit of temperature even on a really cold night with just a little bit of insulation in the greenhouse has kind of renewed my hopes that this can do some stuff. I still think I'm going to build a solar air heater for the greenhouse because I want to blow hot air in here during the day as much as I can, try to warm it up a little bit more, and hopefully at night it'll help these, because if I constantly keep reheating them, I think that's going to be the best way to try to get them to hold as much heat. If I heat them up with a bucket heater or something like that, and then I don't do anything for a while, they'll probably get cold again because it's just that cold outside. But I have a renewed hope for how this thermal mass could actually help me maintain a little bit of warmth at night inside of this greenhouse. And that is super important to me because I really just want to have a little bit of extra help, and I'm trying to do this the most natural possible way I can. I don't want to have, electricity out here. I don't want to do any of those other things. I can't have a fire, just, maintaining it like I've said. I can't really do that. But anything I can do naturally to try to passively store heat inside this greenhouse is what I'm looking for. So we're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to keep track. Probably do a couple update videos if I can. And then I've also been kicking around the idea of throwing in another barrel and doing just a straight compost to see what kind of temperatures a compost could give. Now I also have another idea that I'm working on that may take this spot. I'm not sure yet, so it depends. It's either going to be a compost barrel right here, or there's going to be something else. And I can't tell you what it is because that is definitely coming up later down the road in the spring more. You will see more about that as I get into it. But there's kind of my mindset on what I'm doing with this thermal mass inside the greenhouse and my first initial observation. So the rest of this video will be me checking the temperatures and kind of conveying my thoughts as I do it about what I think is going on with it and how it might be actually working better than I thought it was. So we will see you with an update in the morning. I actually forgot to do my first update in the afternoon here. 46 degrees for the air temperature of the greenhouse, and we got a nice cool 35.6 for the thermal mass. All right, here we go, underway. All right, so here we are. It's super pitch dark because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, but I want to try to figure out if this thermal mass is actually doing any kind of work for the greenhouse. So we're gonna start monitoring some temperatures, and I'm gonna try to keep you guys informed of what I find. So in the greenhouse right now, it is 25 degrees, which is pretty typical. I mean, it was cold last night. It's a little bit warmer than it is outside. It's like 20 degrees outside. But our rain barrel, shockingly, is at a 33 degree temperature, which tells me that it actually is storing some sort of heat and regulating this greenhouse a little bit. At least it is itself holding a little bit of heat. Whether or not that heat is dispersing into the greenhouse or not, I guess that I still don't really know. But seeing that it has a much higher temperature than the greenhouse itself really kind of got me shocked. I was not expecting that to be the case, but I'm kind of pleasantly surprised about that. Yeah, cool. That's our first update. I'm going to check back when I get back from work this afternoon and see what it looks like in here. I expect the greenhouse to be a ton warmer than the rain barrels themselves, but the fact that they're warmer in the mornings, pretty shocking. All right, morning number 2, check in the greenhouse. I didn't get to do one last night because I worked really late. I didn't get home until almost bedtime for the kids, so I got right in the house, helped the wife, settle things down, get the kids ready for bed. But this morning we'll do our check. Let's see, we got 31 as the air temperature of the greenhouse. Not too shabby, actually a little bit warmer than yesterday, and it's about the same outside. So it's 26 outside, 31 in here. Not too bad. And 35 in the barrel. I don't know what's going on that these barrels are staying warmer than freezing, but the air temperature of the greenhouse is getting cold. So I really was wrong about what they can do. They seem to 100% hold a little bit of that daytime heat and must be releasing a little bit at night. I imagine in here it might be a tad bit colder if they weren't doing that. We'll see, but I got the little heater thing coming, so I'm going to try to heat these barrels up like someone suggested to see if that makes even a bigger difference. I'm growing more confident in the idea that these thermal mass is not a waste of space. Alright, so here we are. This is the last day I'm going to do the updates. I thought I'd come out here when it was brighter so you can actually see me, what's going on. Like I said, I've been doing this thermal mass thing, and I'm kind of growing more attuned to the idea that maybe it really does work and can actually help me in some way, shape, or form. It's still a ways off from where I think it would, from where I want it to be, but I think the barrels actually have a chance at holding a lot more heat than I thought they could and being able to release it at night and kind of regulate the temperatures. So inside the greenhouse right now we are at 33, and we had a couple really cold nights in a row there. Like it was, I went in the car the one morning. I didn't come out here that morning because it was so cold. I went right to the car, started up inside, and I waited a few minutes before I went back out. But it was it said 1 degree on my dash of my car. So that's pretty darn cold. But the rain barrel today, 31 degrees. So it was 35 around Wednesday when we had weather that was in the 20s. A couple nights in a row where it went down to single-digit numbers at night. The temperature of the barrel dropped like 4 degrees, but overall, it didn't really drop a drastic amount. Now, there is a good layer of ice on it today. So this is the result right here of having a couple of days of single-degree nights. With the rain barrel. This came off the top of the rain barrel. That's a really good chunk of ice in there. So it's holding temperature. It's not necessarily above freezing, I guess. I mean, it's just a top, I guess. Not terrible. Let me show you inside here. So this is what it looks like in here. You can see I just broke that piece off. There's another one. So, but it's not frozen all the way through. It's just a thin layer of frost on the very top. Gauge is kind of frozen in there. So as far as a solar battery works, I think it has a really good potential. I'm very excited. The next step is the solar air heater, which I really want to do because I want to put heat in here during the day if I can, any little amount of heat, because I think that would help heat these up even higher than where they're at now. Being that they're always around freezing temperature, and the greenhouse actually gets way lower in single degree nights. It can get really cold in the greenhouse, the air temperature. I think this does help, and it's going to do something. And somebody suggested getting the heater, which I got, the little bucket heater. We're going to stick it in there. I'm going to heat all 3 of these barrels up to 80 degrees. And then we're going to see next week how that progresses through the week and how it holds up. I'm really excited about doing that because I think that is going to have the most potential. And if that actually proves to be somewhat fruitful, adding the solar air heater to keep the barrels warmer even during the day, to keep that temperature up during the daytime, I think it's really going to be an awesome benefit to this whole ideal of a thermal mass solar type battery in this little tiny greenhouse. Even in Michigan, I think it has potential now. So I guess my position has changed. I used to think that it wasn't going to do much of anything, and it was kind of a waste of my space, but now I'm coming around to it, and I think with a little more playing, a little more doing, it definitely has a really good potential to help out this greenhouse. Alright, well, stay tuned. The next video you see about the thermal mass will be after we heat it up and test to see what that does. And then after that, we'll have the solar air heater and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for more thermal mass updates. We're going to see what we can really make this thing do. It's going to be a little bit easier because it is, getting further and further into February, which means spring is coming, but I still want to experiment and try to track some stuff. And I know we're going to have a few cold weeks yet that happen where we get really cold temperatures. So as always, remember to be bold and grow bold, and I will see you guys in the very next video.